Hi, and welcome to episode 174 of the Heartland Knits podcast. My name is Vicki, but you can find me as Heartland Knits on Ravelry and Instagram. And today is Sunday, October 1st, 2017. I thought I would sit down today and talk to you a little bit about the last of my summer makes, my summer dresses that I sewed this last summer. It's October 1st already. I figure I better get to showing those off or just forget about doing it. But I was wearing this one. It's a pretty nice day out. Over the top of it, I am wearing my little green kind of self-designed improvised sweater, but I also have been wearing it a lot this last month with the pink Japanese sweater that I knit last spring. This dress is made from New Look S0444, and the fabric from it is a Gertie fabric. It has these little tossed cherries. I love it very much. Let me stand up and show it to you. So I have these little pockets in it. It turned out kind of fitting just like I wanted to, and I do have to show you my perfect shoes that go with it. But I love this pattern. I've sewn a few dresses from it, and I think I have finally gotten it to the point where everything is fitting really nicely. I like how the shoulders fit and everything works on it. I made a major mistake on this dress though, and it is a nice poplin fabric, but I do tend to fully line all my dresses, and the lining is a silk cotton voile. But the mistake that I made was I completely forgot to cut a hem allowance on it. So when I came to getting it all together, and I handpicked the zip and I put it on to try it on and make sure everything fit, and I looked in the mirror and it was at the perfect length, kind of right at my knee. And then it dawned on me, I have the pattern pieces cut out in muslin, and that's what I use instead of using the tissue paper from the pattern. I use the muslin pieces, and on the muslin I just have it marked at 2 inches at the bottom, and I didn't do that. So what I ended up having to do is just kind of turned over the edge. I used a wide hem lace on it, and it was the day before that I was going to wear this dress. I wore this kind of that sweater in this dress to Wisconsin Sheep and Wool at the beginning of September, and it was the day before, and I had enough fabric where I could have cut out a facing in the same fabric. I just kind of wanted to be done with it. I didn't want to get out fabric and start cutting pieces and all of that. So I just went the only color they had at Joann's was white, so I went with it, and you can't tell from the outside. I'm hoping that is a learning experience, that I'm not going to repeat that mistake again. All in all, I've really enjoyed this dress. I've worn it a lot over the last month. Like I said, I have those 2 different sweaters that I've been wearing it with, and we had a streak of really warm weather. So it worked out perfectly that I had made it sleeveless. Okay, the second dress that I finished this summer was my little bird dress. And this is a pattern by Gertie. It is Buttrick 6094. I sewed this in record time for me. I don't know, I'm kind of a slow sewer. I pin a lot and I baste things a lot, and I don't know, I fully line all my dresses and do a lot of hand finishing. But anyway, I finished this one in a day and a half. I started at 6 a.m. and sewed straight through till 9 o'clock at night. And then the next day I finished up. I think that first day I had the bodice completed and the skirt, but they were still separate. I did do pockets. I was in a hurry and I did do pockets. I also did seam finishes on I did French seams on the lining, which is a beautiful silk cotton voile, and then I did clean finish seams on the
skirt. This is the outer fabric is just a quilting cotton. But the really pretty part of this dress is in the back. The really pretty part of this dress is in the back. I did try to match up along the center back here, and if I had had more time, I would have tried to finesse this a little bit better. It did get better the farther down I went. I did put in a hand-picked zip also, but I love this fabric that I used for the collar was some fabric that I bought for either a dress or a little white blouse, but I kind of snuck the corner off hoping that it would work, and then I found these pink buttons that matched perfectly. But let me open this up because this dress is lined and faced. So the facing goes down almost to the midriff section, and then the front of it is faced with just a white cotton batiste. So anyway, I love how this one turned out. As you might have noticed, I did switch out the skirt to have just this pleated skirt instead of the circle, just to make it a little more casual, but it's such a fun dress. I love it.
On a not so happy successful note, I sewed a dress out of the fabric. Well, it really wasn't fabric. It was a pareo that I bought in Hawaii the last time I was there with my mom, and I had this wonderful memories of buying it, and it was sort of the reason why I wanted to take up sewing and learn to sew. Was I had this pareo that I loved. I loved the colors of it, and I was doing the Marie Kondo decluttering thing and came upon it, and it did bring me joy. I just didn't have sort of a place to put it and where it could live, and I kind of held it up to myself and thought, if this was a dress, I could hang it in the closet. And that's sort of what sparked the idea. I wonder if I could sew a dress. And so last year I didn't feel I was kind of up to the task of wearing it, but this year I thought I was going to give it a go and try to do it. And I did a wearable muslin. It was the poppy dress that I showed, and this was from New Look 6208 is the pattern that I was going to use because I was going to have enough fabric. I used a silk crepe de chine as the sort of, I did this version, or the large version. I used a silk crepe de chine for the solid color. And so this is how it turned out. So it looks really nice from like here. And it has, I kept the little fringes for the hem, and I, got it all laid out and sewed together and finished really nicely with clean finished seams. And I did this bias bit with the silk crepe de chine in this color that matched it perfectly, and I put these little bows on the back and everything. And the wearable muslin, the red poppy dress that I wore quite a few times this summer, I felt like it was a little kind of big. There was some extra fabric sort of under the arms, and I thought, well, that was because I hadn't sewn the straps across the back tight enough. So on this one, I sewed these little straps a little tighter, and then once I got the zipper, I handpicked the zipper. It was a lap zip. I tried it on and realized it wasn't from the tightness of those straps at the back that I was getting this extra fabric. It really was because the shoulders needed to be taken up and shortened. And I don't know, it seemed like it was going to be an easy fix. It was something that I had taken things from as far as I can remember of store-bought clothes and whatnot that I would always take, and my mom would be able to fix that and take it up in the shoulders and make it fit better. And I thought, well, she could always do that. That should be able to be fixed. Well, I had a busy July getting all my knitting and things done before Meg Swanson's knitting camp, and I came down to the night before and I thought, oh, need to fix this. I had planned on wearing it on that Thursday of the first day of camp. And so ended up, it's got all this bias edging on, not realizing what a horror that was going to be to try to take off and redo. And so I, cut apart the shoulders, do it, and I was rushing to try to get it done, and it kept getting worse and worse and worse. And so here's how it's looking right now. It's actually, there's pins in it. I got it together, but I was not happy with it. I wasn't happy with how it looked. It just looked kind of, there was like a little wrinkle there. It did not look how I wanted it to look. And it was an emotional night. That's always an emotional period, kind of the time frame of anniversary of her death. I realized that sort of putting all of these things onto myself and making myself so very busy, those, lace shawls that I, got done in record time, and doing that dress in a day and a half. And it was all sort of to try to push down all of these feelings, and they all sort of exploded out of me. And I had a total meltdown that night over this dress. And I realized I didn't have to wear this dress, and I obviously didn't wear it, and I just sort of packed it away and put it in a corner. And this is the first time I've sort of taken it out and looked at it, and parts of it look worse than I remember them, parts of it look better than I remembered. And then at one point during that evening, I repicked the zipper, which made it look worse than it was. So I think what I'm going to do with this is I'm not going to totally give up, because I still really love it, and I love the fabric, and I love the thought of having a dress made out of it. Is I'm going to take off all of this bias and try to redo it. I think I have some of this silk left. I can make new bias tape, and if I don't, I can order another yard of it. It's to make this work. So obviously it's heading into winter. I'm not going to need to have this dress to wear. So I think I might take this off and just get it to a point where when I pick it back up again, I can try to finish it and hopefully have it for next summer. So this is my first kind of really big failure sewing wise. Hopefully I'm still going to be able to get it together and make it work. I'm hoping not to have to take the bias tape off of that front edge, just because I'm thinking that it will make it stretch out a lot more. But if I have to do the back, so be it. So that we don't end this on a really sort of sad note, I thought I would show you the shoes that I bought that inspired me to sew that bird dress in record time for me, that is. But I love these shoes so much, and I've worn them quite a bit. So these are the Flulog Trivialis is the actual name of the shoe. I call them my rickrack shoes, because they've got the ankle strap is sort of a rickrack kind of shape, and they have this really cool sort of a stacked off center sort of heel. I love them. I love them so much, and they are really sort of that bright. They're a very bright pink and kind of a melon sort of orange. I love them. On the bottom, it's pretty dirty. They're the Fairway family of shoes, and it says reckless chances, emotional thrills, sensory delights. So anyway, my newest vlogs, that here, it's a kind of a short episode, but I wanted to get through and be able to show off my summer dresses, because I'm heading into fall. I have a whole bunch of fall fabric and some winter projects that I want to start sewing on, and I think the next time maybe I will show you fabrics that I've collected. I've been doing quite a bit of fabric shopping. I have a kind of a big fabric order going into Moon Fabrics tonight, so I will have lots of new stuff to show you there. So thank you all so much for watching. If you're not already a subscriber on YouTube or iTunes, I invite you to do that. Then you can get notified when things go up. I am splitting off the podcast into more of a knitting-centric episodes and sewing-centric episodes. This one I'm calling Sew and Tell. I'm not sure the exact name that I'm going to kind of name the sewing ones yet, but I'll come up with something. So do subscribe, give me a thumbs up if you like this, and until I see you next time, from my heart to yours, happy sewing!